Why do you think you lost it? You said you planted it, lost it all.
Okay. What we planted here were legumes,
Yeah.
the beans,
Yes.
and at the time of podding, the
Podding.
rains went.
Ah, yes.
And we thought the rains will come because the weather forecast
Yeah.
kept telling us, as you said, oh, in 2 days, the rains will come. So we couldn't even water.
Yeah.
We said, let's wait. Since we have one borehole, we can't water everywhere. Let's wait for the rains to come. And that's how we lost
And it
the
never
crop.
came.
Okay, so I wonder when I hear you say that is if you have a brittle system, you are reliant on, because if you're reliant on the rains to come, it sort of suggests to me that maybe there's not very much water in the soil being held in the soil, so it becomes very vulnerable to those
Depending on rain.
the rains coming.
Mhm.
But what if you could actually hold a lot of water in the soil, so it could carry that through? So instead of, it would smooth out the peaks between when rain, no rain, rain, no rain, and so on. It smooths it out because you know that a lot of the moisture that you need is already in the soil, maybe a bit further down. But what that does is it forces the roots to grow deeper.
Yeah, I
into
think
the soil.
that those are some of the things that we need to learn how to do it. I think that will help us.
To have that
Because we are
water
using the traditional kind of from memorial from our grandmothers.
Yeah.
As I said, we are marketers. We've never studied agriculture.
Yeah.
I'm a chef, my first profession. I
Yeah.
did social work.
Yeah.
I did international trade strategy,
Yeah.
but I've never studied agriculture. It's a passion that we get into, and we realize that that's where our money comes from.
Yes.
We've abandoned these other processes because we just use the knowledge to connect with people. But we are people of the soil.
Yeah.
Dean, what would you suggest then?
Well, I
A couple
think
of things, I'm sure. But
well,
what
here,
would be the
what we are doing in that system that we described here is that we're throwing good money over bad. In that we want to make sure when we put money and invest in there, by whatever intervention, that's going to leverage and it's going to, being a market, you'll understand this, and your supply chain or your value chain, which you might think starts from the seeds that you clean and then you sell into the market. Your value chain starts well before that. It starts in the soil. Yeah. So if you get the soil condition right, you give that every chance to grow a healthy plant with the seeds and so on, beans and seeds and peas and so on, that have the resilience, and more importantly, they have the nutritional density, which is going to allow you to produce the quality of the food that you'll get better value in the marketplace. Yeah, I think you understand what I'm saying. So what, in terms of what you can do here, I strongly encourage everybody, and in our group in Australia and even on our farm, I'm a huge advocate for doing trials, demonstrations. So you take a small area and you just try something different, but you only try one thing. Because if you try lots of things, it's like making a cake. I've got my traditional way of making it, and then I'm going to try a new one, and I put a bit of this, that, and something else. And I go, that was a fantastic cake. What did you do? And you go, well, I don't really know. I just put all these things in there, right? Or the opposite could happen.
Yeah.
So you change one thing.
Change one thing at a time. That's a scientific approach, because it gives you a control mechanism, and you vary only one thing. Therefore, the difference you see can only be a result of that one thing that you did.
How big or small can this trial area
Well,
be?
we were talking before with Sam, is that you want to do it in something that's manageable. It doesn't require a lot of machinery. So you could take an area that might be 10 square meters, and that's sufficient for the biology to demonstrate to you what works and what doesn't. And if you make a mistake, and mistakes are good because that's the only way we really learn. Yeah. But you don't want to keep making the same mistake year in, year out, because there's a definition for what that is, and Einstein talked about that, right? You know, it's the definition of stupidity, I think. So doing trials, controlled trials, is so important, because the things that you've heard about and we've been talking about for the last few minutes, and if you get the advice from the experts and the people who've done this many, many times, a lot of it's written in the books and it's in videos and things too, and you go, well, if it always looks good on a video, doesn't it? You go, well, how did they do that, you know? So,
Yes.
so the roll the sleeves up,
Practice.
have a properly designed trial, simple trial that doesn't cost you really anything,
Mhm.
and that way you understand what you're doing, because it's a complex system here. You're dealing with life, you're dealing with climates, you're dealing with
Are
people.
there things now you're doing to build soil biology? Are there practices you're using?
You see, in terms of technology and agricultural practices, we're not having much.
Yeah.
That's why you see that in a number of things that is started. So what we need is what you said, to say that we need to share knowledge. Yeah, so we need that connection to see what you're doing. Because you cannot learn from somebody who does not know.
That's
We have a
right.
lot of people
Yes.
who seem to have knowledge, but they're not practical.
Mm.
Okay? They can't produce. They have agriculture knowledge, but they can't produce.
Yeah.
So now we need somebody to produce. Like people from Australia, we can see on video, as he's saying. So even on video, you can say that this is original. Things are working. Even video can show.
Yeah.
So
The
we've
farmer.
seen on video that
Yes.
you're doing very well as Australia. So we need to learn from you.
Mm.